I'm pregnant. Do not come any closer. Sarah's voice rises in alarm. The lead man, Carl, according to his badge, flashes a toothy grin that doesn't reach his eyes. Ma'am, you're in violation of HOA Landscaping Code 37A. He moves to step past her. Step aside, we need to inspect the premises. My wife's frown deepens as she blocks his path. There is no HOA here, she says firmly. We dissolved it 5 years ago. Carl's smirk turns predatory. Non-compliance doesn't exempt you from the visual cohesion standards. He gestures dismissively at our yard. Your mulch bed is unauthorized, and your hedges exceed height limits. I hear the tremor in Sarah's voice as she takes a protective step back. This is private property. You're trespassing. Her hand tightens on her belly. Please leave before I call the police. The fake enforcer moves forward aggressively. You think this is a request? His voice turns hard. Step aside. You're interfering with an inspection. Not another step. Can't you see I'm expecting? Tears spring to her eyes as she cups her belly with both hands in a silent plea. Ma'am, you're in violation and escalating the situation. Carl barks, then suddenly shoves past her. My heart stops as Sarah stumbles backward, tumbling down the porch steps with a cry. The sickening crack of her favorite coffee mug shatters the air as she lands hard, clutching her stomach. Sarah! I'm already sprinting through the house before the scream leaves my lips. Bursting through the front door, my vision tunnels on the bastard standing over my wife. Did you just push my wife? My voice comes out low and deadly. Carl backs up a step, hands raised in mock innocence. She resisted inspection. She fell on her own. I'm moving before he finishes speaking, closing the distance between us. You've got 3 seconds to get off my property, I growl, before I show you what real enforcement looks like. The idiot actually steps toward me. You lay a hand on me and I'll... His threat cuts off as my elbow connects with his jaw in one clean motion. He collapses like a sack of bricks. The second imposter fumbles for his radio, eyes wide with panic. Go ahead, I tell him, shaking out my hand. Call for help. I'll make sure they're here in time to arrest you too. From the ground, Sarah's shaky voice cuts through my rage. Jack, the baby... She takes a deep breath. It's okay. I think he's okay. Around us, neighbors pour from their homes, phones raised to record. Someone shouts, They assaulted her! Someone call the real cops. The second enforcer freezes, realizing too late they picked the wrong neighborhood to scam. On a spring morning so still it felt sacred, Sarah Miller stood barefoot on the porch of her colonial-style home. One hand cradled her 7-month pregnant belly, the other held a mug of decaf coffee. The cul-de-sac yawned to life around her. Birds chattered from the oaks, lawn sprinklers hissed in rhythm, and sunlight shimmered on chrome car mirrors. Across the street, 2 kids drew chalk dinosaurs on the sidewalk, giggling every time the tails got longer. She smiled, imagining her own son joining them one day. Inside, her husband Jack, former Marine, now a high school shop teacher, clattered pans and hummed off key as the smell of bacon drifted through the open front door. For a fleeting moment, it was all perfect. Then came the low growl of tires. A black SUV prowled slowly onto their street, windows tinted darker than legal, unmarked and predatory. It stopped at the curb, engine purring like a threat. Sarah's smile faded. The SUV had no front plates. The rear was just a mirrored sheet of glass reflecting the sun. She took a cautious step forward. Both front doors opened simultaneously. 2 men emerged. They wore black tactical vests over tight black shirts, mirrored aviators, and heavy black boots that struck the pavement with intention. Their gear looked military at first glance, but the patches on their vests read something almost laughable. HOAENFORCEMENT. Except it wasn't funny. Sarah knew her neighborhood. Every fence line, every pet name, every board vote. They didn't have an HOA. Not anymore. The shorter man, stocky and tense, with a shaved head and a jaw that twitched like a ticking clock, marched toward the porch. The taller one lingered by the SUV, thumbing a phone like he was ordering pizza, not trespassing. "Ma'am," barked the short one, "you're in violation of HOA Landscaping Code 37A. Sarah blinked, confusion tilting into concern. "We don't have an HOA, she said. "This street opted out 5 years ago." He stepped closer, past the gate, clipboard in hand. "You're standing on a flag violation zone. Step aside. Non-compliance escalates." Her grip tightened on her mug. "For what?" she asked carefully. "We planted roses." "Exactly. That mulch bed violates Visual Cohesion Clause 19.3, and your hedges are overgrown by 2.6 inches. Her heart raced. Not from fear, from something deeper, protective, fierce. "Leave," she said. "You're trespassing. I'm pregnant. My husband's inside. I'm asking you, once." The man sneered and moved fast. Too fast. He shoved past the screen door, his hand slamming her shoulder. Sarah cried out, stumbling backward. Her foot caught on the edge of the mat, her body pitching down the stone steps. The mug shattered. Her body hit the brick pavers with a sickening crunch. Pain exploded through her hip and ribs. But worse was the terror. She clutched her belly, crying out. Across the street, a dog barked. A neighbor yelled something. Then silence. Boots pounded inside. Jack burst out like a thunderclap, eyes locking on Sarah crumpled on the walkway. Something ancient woke in him. He didn't yell. He didn't run. He walked, slow, deliberate, like a storm forming at sea. The short man hadn't moved far. He turned with a smirk, oblivious. "Sir," he barked, "you're interfering with a compliance—" "Shut up," Jack said, voice low and lethal. The taller man at the SUV straightened. "This is official HOA business." "We don't have an HOA," Jack said, without breaking stride. The short man's brow furrowed, catching the shift in tone too late. "Sir, I need you to—" "Did you push my wife?" Jack asked, stopping on the porch, relaxed in posture but coiled like wire. "She resisted inspection," the man said, scoffing. "She got in the way." "Wrong answer," Jack said. In a blink, Jack's hand shot forward, seizing the man's vest. He yanked him forward, nose to nose. "3 seconds," Jack growled, "to explain who you think you are before you lose every tooth behind that fake badge." The man shoved him. Mistake. Jack's elbow struck in a blur, snapping into the man's jaw with a sickening crack. His knees buckled, eyes rolling back. He hit the pavement hard, a heap of limbs in silence. Gasps erupted. A door slammed. Phones rose. Neighbors emerged like prairie dogs from burrows. The taller man's hand twitched toward his walkie. "Back up, code." Jack closed the distance, ducked a swing, twisted the man's arm behind his back in a clean lock. The man yelped. "Don't be stupid," Jack hissed, dragging him toward the garden. The man resisted. Jack pivoted, using the momentum to hurl him through the air, straight into the decorative fountain. Water exploded. The cherub statue cracked. The man scrambled, soaked and sputtering. "You impersonated authority," Jack said, looming. "You assaulted my pregnant wife. You trespassed." Jack took a step forward. "I should throw you back in." From the ground, Sarah watched through tears. Mrs. Carter, their elderly neighbor, knelt beside her. "You okay, honey?" "I think so," Sarah gasped. "The baby's still moving." Mrs. Carter's face hardened like stone. "Not anymore, they won't. Not here." Neighbors swarmed in now. Mr. Singh with his leaf blower still running, a teenager live streaming, a chorus of dogs barking. One kid whispered, "That punch was insane." Another said, "He's like Batman." Jack ignored them all. He knelt beside Sarah, gently brushing her hair back. "You okay?" he asked, and for the first time his voice broke. "I think so," she whispered. Sirens wailed in the distance. A police cruiser screeched around the corner, then another, an ambulance close behind. Officer Brooks, a local cop and fellow veteran, stepped out. He saw Jack, Sarah, the unconscious man, the wet one in the fountain. He blinked once, sighed hard. "Hell!" "Everyone stay put," he shouted. Mrs. Carter pointed. "Officer, those men assaulted her. They're fake HOA enforcers." Brooks knelt by Sarah as paramedics moved in. "What happened?" he asked Jack. "They pulled up. Claim violations. We don't have an HOA. One pushed her. I stopped them." Brooks stood, eyeing the damage. "You stopped them with a concussion and a baptism?" Another cop, Hernandez, emerged holding a cracked phone from the SUV. "You'll want this," he said grimly. Inside were photos, addresses, route notes, a file titled Easy Hits. A video showed the men laughing, planning to extort fines from elderly residents. This wasn't a prank. It was organized theft. "They've hit at least 3 neighborhoods," Hernandez said. "Mostly single women. Elderly. My aunt in Brookville paid $400 for a lawn color violation," a neighbor offered. No one questioned it. Jack crossed his arms. "What happens now?" Brooks looked grim. "Fraud, assault, impersonation, conspiracy. This goes wide." The soaked man coughed. "You can't prove intent. We'll sue." Brooks crouched by him. "You pushed a pregnant woman. You're lucky you're breathing. No lawsuit's gonna save you." Neighbors clapped, first Mrs. Carter, then the rest. Not for violence, for justice. Sarah watched, dazed but alert. She looked at Jack, her husband, her storm, and mouthed, "Thank you." He just nodded, helping her to her feet as medics checked her belly. A healthy kick made Sarah cry in relief. A paramedic gently touched her shoulder. "You're lucky, so lucky." By sunset, the footage was viral. Doorbell cameras captured it all. Titled, "Fake HOA Cops Learn Why You Don't Touch a Marine's Wife." Millions watched. Some cried fake. Others shared stories of being scammed. The suspects were identified: Carl Tatum and Ryan Hall, ex-private security turned rogue. But they were just pawns. The real mastermind, Victor Crane, a disgraced former housing consultant turned con man. He ran fake seminars, printed bogus bylaws, and trained men to act like enforcers. 32 victims across 3 counties, elderly women, widows, veterans. Crane was arrested at a retreat in Arizona. He was holding a workshop called Compliance Profits. The trial was swift. Judge Laura Pierce, known for her hatred of fraud, delivered the verdict. Tatum, 6 years. Whole, 18 months and 500 hours of community service. Crane, 22 years for racketeering, conspiracy, assault, and impersonation. In court, she turned to Sarah. "You didn't crumble," she said. "Because of you, others are safe." Then added with a smirk, "Sometimes justice is an elbow to the jaw." Laughter broke the tension. The media dubbed the legislation passed in the wake the Miller Act, requiring enforcement agents to carry verified IDs and empowering neighborhoods to post "No Fake Cops" signs. Sarah gave birth to a healthy boy. They named him Valor. Jack repaired the fountain, leaving its crack visible, adding a brass plaque. "Here fell the fake. May truth always rise." Letters poured in. One from a veteran's mother read, "You reminded me of my son. He's gone, but you gave me hope." The noise eventually faded, but the change did not. Sarah kept a journal for Valor. She titled it For Valor. "You were born from a fight," she wrote, "but you'll live for a promise." One frosty morning, Cradling her son, she looked out at the fountain. "Remember the silence after the splash?" she asked Jack. He nodded. "Like the world held its breath." She smiled. "That's when I knew we'd won." Valor's tiny fist curled. The scarred fountain gleamed under the porch light, a testament that when fakes rise, truth hits back harder. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more powerful tales of resilience and justice. Your support allows us to keep delivering valuable insights and stories that inform and inspire people everywhere. Thank you for watching Work Story, and see you in the next one.